Instacart Fridays.
Yetis, we have got the perfect way for you to make someone happy today.
A surprise food delivery.
Surprise food delivery. We've all been away all summer. Maybe you got that buddy who you haven't seen in a while.
You could send them a I miss you text, or you could send them flowers, or you could send them their favorite food.
I actually just did this. I surprised Jack with 6 pints of ice cream straight out of Instacart.
Call it a Kramer's dozen. Just round up on that thing.
Honestly, we couldn't see each other, so I sent Jack 52 servings of Ben and Jerry. You're welcome.
Nick, you had a kid in June. You know I Instacarted you and Molly your favorite ice cream.
Yes, you did. A couple dozen pints of salt and straw. Not too shabby.
Yetis, if your friend is sick, send him some soup.
If your friend just had a baby, send him some bagels.
If you haven't seen your buddy Timmy since April, send him a sausage surprise.
Why not? Yetis, we have found the perfect partner for a surprise food delivery right now.
You get $30 off your first order of $80 or more at instacart.com/tboy.
And you get free delivery on your first 3 orders.
Minimum $10 per order for free delivery. Offers valid for a limited time and additional terms apply.
Surprise your buddy with Instacart. This is Nick.
This is Jack.
It's Friday, the real Friday, September 8th, and today's pod is the best one yet.
You are this close to the weekend, Yetis.
You are so close to the weekend. That Saturday is the new Friday, isn't it, Jack?
All right. Now I'm confused. Let's start the show.
Smells like Sunday. First story, what do we got for the new Friday?
For our first story, it's Apple. Apple just lost $210 billion of stock market value in just 2 days.
And it's all because of a ban in China and some very funny timing.
For our second story, you know that maze you have to go through if you're buying something at Ikea?
I'm still stuck in the maze like a box of emotion, Jack.
You don't get lost in that maze. You get found in that maze.
That IKEA maze is actually a psychological phenomenon.
And our third and final story is SkinnyDipped. This chocolate snack startup just raised big celebrity money.
Because SkinnyDipped is stealing candy like an artist.
But Yetis, before we hit that wonderful mix of stories.
A fantastic mix of stories for the real Friday, Jack.
You may be mid-cocktail or mid-mocktail, mid-podcast right now.
And no judgments, Yetis.
So we're going to tell you about the best-selling drink there is right now.
And what is that, Jack?
The Grey Goose Honey Deuce.
The Grey Goose Honey Deuce. Yetis, the best-selling drink right now is also the most exclusive drink right now.
The Honey Deuce cocktail is 1 part vodka, 1 part lemonade, and 1 part raspberry liqueur.
And it comes with 2 melon spheres shaped like little tennis balls.
Because the Honey Deuce is exclusively sold at the U.S. Open tennis tournament.
And besties, if you're not watching tennis, you can't honey deuce.
But get this, Yetis. During the 2-week tennis tournament happening in Queens right now, the U.S. Open sold 405,000 honey deuces.
And get this, turns out this year, they're on pace to sell even more.
That's almost 4,000 honey deuces sold every hour.
Which is 60 honey deuces sold every single minute.
Holy John McEnroe.
Sweet Serena, Jack.
But this price, it costs a pretty penny. $22 per deuce.
So, Jack, we sprinkle on a little more mathematical context on this cocktail?
The U.S. Open makes $10 million in revenue in just 2 weeks on their one signature drink.
Which means if the Honey Deuce drink was sold all year, then it would be a $250 million a year business.
That's as big as Allbirds.
That is maybe bigger than Bud Light right now.
But the key with the Honey Deuce, you gotta keep that official cup it came in.
Because, Katie's, if you don't keep the Honey Deuce cup, did you even go to the U.S. Open?
Yetis, cancel that espresso martini order.
Besties, forget that frosé.
It is DIY Honey Deuce weekend. And if some listener out there's got the official Honey Deuce cup, please mail it to us.
Jack and I'll send it back post-deuce.
Deuces, let's hit our 3 stories.
15 years before this song, 2 boys from the Northeast met in the dorm. They had an idea that caused a cultural storm. It's the best one yet, but the best is the norm. Jack, Nick, that's it. I don't even think they need to practice. 50%, that's a fat tip. T-Boy City on your list. If you know, you know, cause we ready to go. We can't wait no more, so just start the show. Start the show.
For our first story, 2 pieces of shocking news out of China just sank Apple stock by $210 billion.
Apple's plan A needs a plan B ASAP.
But Jack, we got to jump in geographically on this one. Can we talk about the second most important country for Apple, please?
Well, number 1 is the United States. It's the biggest market and it's where their employees are.
But number 2 is China. And how much are they doing in China in terms of business, Jack?
20% of all of Apple's sales happen in China.
Which is a big number. But what's a bigger number, Jack?
Way more important than that is that 95% of all the products that Apple sells are manufactured in Chinese factories.
Club Apple is a Chinese club, Yetis. Just about every single iPhone, MacBook, iPad, Apple Watch, AirPod, you name it, if it's got an I, it was made in China.
That's why Tim Cook's #1 job the past 10 years, it's not really be CEO of Apple. It's be the unofficial U.S. business ambassador to China.
Slap that on your LinkedIn, Timmy. Oh, by the way, Tim Cook has done a pretty good job of this, hasn't he, Jack?
Despite declining U.S. and China relations over the years, none of that has impacted Apple. Yet.
But here's the shocking news.
Apple stock dropped by 7% in the past 2 days.
Yes, it did.
Erasing $210 billion of stock market value from Apple.
I'm sorry, Jack. Can you sprinkle on some context so I can understand that number?
Nick, that is 60 lifts worth of stock market value. Erased. Gone. Poof.
Done. Deuces. And it's all because of two surprising headlines that came up in the same week and got us curious.
First, China just banned iPhones for government employees and the employees of state-owned Chinese enterprises.
It's a big deal. No more iMessaging your buddy in the Beijing Communist Party Club.
Now, in the U.S., we've done something similar. Many U.S. government entities have banned TikTok and Huawei.
So this Chinese iPhone ban is kind of a government tit for tat.
They're titting our tat.
Our tat has been tit.
And the second surprising headline from this week is that Huawei, the smartphone company that's banned in the U.S., just announced a breakthrough new smartphone that is shockingly on par, tech-wise, with the iPhone.
Get this, Yetis. This new Chinese phone runs on computer chips we didn't even realize China was capable of making.
It's alarming news for economists that China was able to produce this phone all by themselves.
So China just banned the iPhone from government use at the same time they have an iPhone alternative. Coincidence, Jack?
To quote Commissioner Gordonick, we don't believe in coincidences.
No, we don't. Yetis, China has always needed Apple for its phones and the jobs that Apple phones creates.
But this iPhone ban and the rise of an alternative iPhone could be the beginning of China cutting off Apple.
And that is why Apple stock just lost $210 billion of value.
Apple has to accelerate its Plan B.
Look, Yetis, it is unlikely that China would just shut down its iPhone factories. It needs those factories.
Those iPhone factories employ hundreds of thousands, if not millions of young Chinese people who need those jobs.
But this is the biggest warning yet that Apple would be wise to have a backup plan ASAP.
As U.S. official relations with China have worsened, Apple has started to snuggle up with a Plan B. That's India.
In fact, by 2025, Apple wants a quarter of all Apple products to be made in India.
But based on this week's news, they should probably accelerate that plan to diversify away from China.
Made in China is Plan A, but made in India may need to become the new Plan A.
They should accelerate that Plan B.
For our second story, Ikea just made one of the biggest discoveries in the history of physical retail.
The shopping maze, which Ikea is known for, isn't just more lucrative for Ikea. Ikea customers actually prefer the maze.
Jack, if we're going to kick off an Ikea story, can you whip up that completely unsubstantiated fact that we believe in?
Sure, Nick. More arguments happen among couples in one retailer than any other retailer.
And who is it, Jack?
Ikea.
Yeah, Jack and I are both in couples therapy, and Ikea brought us there.
Are we getting the Schurgenflufen or the Fagendufen?
Yetis, 58 years ago, Ikea pioneered a brand new retail concept, and that concept was the maze.
To get from the entrance of an Ikea to the exit, you have to walk through one endless looping aisle from start to finish.
Besties, we have all been there. It is a serpent-like entanglement, a retail labyrinth, a winding course you cannot escape.
The store layout of any Ikea is actually an architectural marvel.
Yeah, Jack and I jumped in T-Boy style. Turns out the Ikea maze was actually inspired by the winding Guggenheim Museum in New York City.
But 2 years ago, Ikea tested out a micro retail model with a more traditional store layout.
The type of layout with multiple aisles and an open floor that you're used to seeing.
Like your local grocery store or your typical Target or any retailer.
You could roam freely at your will in these new Ikeas.
If you want, you can pop in, grab your thing, and pop out without going through a maze.
But here's the news. Ikea just announced that didn't work. In fact, they're shutting down a lot of those new stores.
Because Ikea's data tells them that shoppers prefer the maze that IKEA is known for.
Now, Yetis, here's what Jack and I found fascinating about this story. It's not just that customers prefer the maze. It turns out profits also prefer the maze.
Because the more you see as a customer in a store, the more you're gonna buy.
It sounds simple, and it's true. Like, Jack, let's talk about a typical retail store layout. What's the situation there?
A typical customer walking into a typical store only walks past 33% of the items that the store has.
Because you're going to aisle 3 or aisle 6, you don't remember, you go into 1, and then you bounce out of the store.
But IKEA's signature maze layout is one long, three-dimensional, real-life advertisement. By the time you get to the end, you have paged through every item that IKEA offers.
And that layout results in some wild numbers, doesn't it, Jack?
6 out of every 10 purchases at an IKEA store is an impulse buy.
We repeat, Yeti, 60% of IKEA sales are unplanned purchases. Sit down, stand up, and sit back down in that futon again.
That Flurgan sofa, you bought it because you saw it.
I mean, Jack, I came in for the lamp. I left with a Luchtenfluken.
The only way you're going to buy just the one thing you plan to buy at an IKEA is if you're wearing those periphery blinders they put on horses.
And then you're going to smell the meatballs, and you're going to take off the blinders and walk out with another futon.
Because each turn at an IKEA adds suspense. What's around the corner here? What's around the corner there?
That's the beauty of the maze. It's like you're an excited kid in a haunted house who can't wait to see more.
Or as the IKEA CEO puts it, the maze is a reminder to the customer to buy the thing you forgot about.
Like a Flurgan couch. Sir Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over at IKEA?
Nick, IKEA has conquered the paradox of choice.
Ah, the paradox of choice. Yetis, there is an ironic comfort about the IKEA maze. You have no choice but to follow it.
Which is different than a Walmart. At Walmart, there's hundreds of directions you can go. But at IKEA, there's only one direction you can go.
And Yetis, with limitless choice, more and more of us are facing analysis paralysis. All those decisions, they become exhausting.
Economists call analysis paralysis the paradox of choice.
In certain cases, customers prefer less choice. IKEA's maze, it offers exactly that.
So at first glance, IKEA's maze seems obnoxiously limiting.
It forces you through one way.
But in reality, it's actually liberating.
It unburdens you from thinking.
The IKEA maze has conquered the paradox of choice. Flurgan choice.
Flurgan choice.
And now a word from our sponsor, Athletic Greens.
Yetis, you know what would not be the best one yet? If Jack was whipping up a takeaway and then he started coughing.
Getting sick stinks, but it's particularly rough when you promised your audience the best one yet.
So we tried AG1 because it supports our immune systems, helping you fight off the common sicknesses out there.
Every morning on my way to the studio, I pound an AG1 so I can come to work tomorrow feeling healthy.
I called Jack. I'm like, Jack, we hit our 3 stories. He's like, oh, he's drinking the AG1.
AG1 makes us feel like we're protecting our bodies, our minds, and our peace of minds, too.
That's 75 high-quality vitamins, probiotics, whole food-sourced ingredients you mix into water for a tasty drink of goodness.
If you're looking for a simpler, effective investment in your health, try AG1.
You're going to get 5 free AG1 travel packs and a free 1-year supply of vitamin D with your first purchase.
So go to drinkag1.com/tboy today.
That's drinkag1.com/TBOY. Check it out.
Sunday's dog food.
Yetis, on vacation, Jack brought his puppy River, their family super mutt. The pics were adorable, Jack.
Because people ultimately prioritize puppies, yeah.
Yeah. Well, watching her run off the leash on that empty beach, that was magical for Jack, although it scared me a little bit.
But thanks to Sunday's dog food, River gets a magical moment twice a day.
Because Sundays is made of USDA beef, all natural chicken. They toss in pumpkin, they toss in ginger. It's all for digestive support. This is like Michelin-starred stuff, Jack.
These are human-grade ingredients for my dog, and they come delivered to your door air-fried, which means they're not messy for you.
Okay, delicious for the animal, clean and easy for the human. Boom.
River has been loving Sunday's dog food since we started a few months ago.
So Jack and I worked out a special deal for our dog-loving listeners, 35% off your first order.
Go to sundaysfordogs.com/tboy or use code TBOY at checkout.
Let's spell it out, Jack. That's sundaysfordogs.com/tboy.
Can you spell it out again?
No.
No, please don't, please don't. Upgrade your pup to Sundays and feel good about the food you're feeding your dog.
For our third and final story before the weekend, SkinnyDipped is one of the fastest growing snack companies in America, and they just raised another round.
SkinnyDipped's secret to chocolate-covered success is doing the same thing, but a little different.
But yeah, before Jack and I tell you this story, we're going to read off a list of names, and you got to tell us, what comes to mind.
Amy Schumer, Post Malone, Mark Wahlberg, Steve Aoki, and Shakira.
I believe it's Shakira, Jack.
Did you just correct me on our own pod?
Hips don't lie, Jack. Hips don't lie. Yetis, that is not the cast of the latest Spike Lee movie. Those are the investors in a chocolate-covered nut startup
called SkinnyDipped, because SkinnyDipped just announced their $12 million fundraise so they can cover even more almonds and even more cashews in chocolate.
You may have seen SkinnyDipped in Costco or Whole Foods, but it was
my freezer right now.
but it was actually founded by a mother-daughter team 10 years ago.
And their sales grew 150% last year, because snacking on nuts covered in chocolate is so hot right now.
Now, Yetis, this is what Jack and I got curious about with SkinnyDipped. The competitive advantage of this chocolate-covered nut company, what is it, Jack?
Less chocolate.
Yeah, that's it. It's just the skinny dip. It's a skinnier dip.
A skinnier dip of chocolate over the nuts, right?
For example, let's look at their top-selling products right now. First, you got dark chocolate peanut butter cups.
With less chocolate.
And then you got caramel-covered cashews.
With less caramel.
And then you got white chocolate-covered almonds.
With less white chocolate and a hint of lemon.
Add it all up, besties. Chocolate-covered nuts, peanut butter cups, paging Officer Reese's. There doesn't seem to be anything new here.
There really isn't. And that's the whole point.
Exactly. Because instead, SkinnyDipped is remixing old products that have stood the test of time.
Like Reese's, a 95-year-old brand.
They just make it with a little less sugar, a little less caramel, and a little less guilty.
A little bit softer now. A little bit softer now.
So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over at SkinnyDipped?
Steal like an artist.
Yeah, these copycats, plagiarism, zucking. When you do something unoriginal, not unique, lame, we like to call it out.
We don't like any of those things. But stealing like an artist, that's more nuanced.
Yes, it is.
It's when you take something that's working and then add your own spin.
Here's how it works. Strategically, you take an existing concept.
So you know there's a market for the product.
And then creatively, you make it your own.
With your own unique twist.
It's inspired, not stolen.
It's related, not a ripoff.
SkinnyDipped's top product is basically Reese's, but with a little less chocolate, higher quality, and a hint of lemon.
That's it.
Because Yetis, nothing is completely original.
So great brands know they can steal like an artist.
Jack, can you whip up the takeaways for us for the Real Friday?
Apple stock sank 7% in the last 2 days because China banned iPhones and seems to have a homegrown alternative.
Apple's working on Plan B, but it needs to accelerate Plan B.
And our second story is Ikea. They tested a traditional store layout, but they went back to Ikea's signature store maze.
Ikea's retail maze has conquered the paradox of choice.
And our third and final story is SkinnyDipped. They lightly dipped their nuts, and it's one of the fastest growing snacks out there.
SkinnyDipped stole
From Reese's and M&M's.
like an artiste.
Steal like an artist. But Yetis, this pod's not over yet. Here's what else you need to know today.
First, thieves in Spain just stole $500,000 worth of olive oil, extra virgin olive oil.
Olive oil supplies have plummeted, prices have popped, so thieves are stealing it and selling it on the black market.
And second, Tesla just partnered with Hilton Hotels to add 20,000 chargers to their hotels by 2025.
If you own a Tesla and you want to travel, you might go to Hilton, not Marriott now.
And finally, Tom Brady has a new job with Delta Airlines.
Now that Tom's done losing money with crypto, he's become a pitch man for a conventional airline.
Can I offer you some Bitcoin and IL-33B, Jack? Now, time for the best fact yet. This one whipped up by Jack and me because we wanted to hook you up before the weekend.
We told you earlier about the Honeydeuce cocktail that's served at the U.S. Open tennis tournament.
Yeah, they sell 405,000 of them over a 2-week period.
It got Nick and me thinking, there's a lot of sporting events with signature cocktails.
Yeah, the one that seems to sell the most, though, is the Kentucky Derby with the mint julep.
In just one day that the Kentucky Derby happens, they sell 120,000 mint juleps.
And those 120,000 mint juleps require 1,000 pounds of mint.
And 60,000 pounds of ice.
Yetis, that mint julep, it's not a drink, it's an economic stimulus for Louisville.
Louisville, Kentucky.
Yetis, you look fantastic today. Jack, you're looking flirgen bach dilbot. And besties, if you want to help grow the show, you can drop down and give us a 5-star review.
If the next 5-star review is not about Nick's Swedish accent,
I'm gonna flurgen your Durgan.
Nick and I will see you Monday.
And before we go, a shout out to Yeti Vienna Singh, who's starting middle school today in New York City.
Those multiplication tables don't have a chance against you, Vienna.
And Jorge Mice is traveling from Mexico to Europe for some vacation. Enjoy that vacation, Jorge.
And congratulations to Zach Roberson down in Texas, who's training for a new job.
And congratulations to Colleen and Jin, who just got engaged also in New York City. Let's see some ring pics, guys.
Congratulations to Julian and Megan Curtin, getting married in Baltimore.
Not too shabby. And Ashley and Ramon Gordon also just got married in New York City. There we go.
Congratulations to Katie Severies, who's getting married on my favorite, the Brooklyn Bridge.
You might as well just show up and go there, Jack.
Legendary.
And congratulations to Tim Obert and Amy Considine, who had their 6-year anniversary celebrating in a tiny cabin in Florida.
Happy 19 years together to Bobby and Terry Malestra in Florida.
And Daryl and Patricia Rudolph, happy 50th wedding anniversary over in Washington. And a happy birthday to our buddy down in Louisville, Kentucky, Emma Gardner. Celebrate some wins.
Louisville, Kentucky, great city, got even better when Emma arrived.
And Mike Cooney has got a 27th birthday over in Bridgeport, Connecticut.
And happy birthday to Janine Coover, celebrating her 60th at Oracle Park for a Giants game.
And legendary Yeti Andrew Kazemchek has got a birthday down in Morris Plains, New Jersey.
Happy birthday to Kara Imbarado, who's celebrating a bridal shower as well in Savannah, Georgia.
And Rajesh, happy birthday in Menlo Park.
Happy birthday to Kayla Stemmer in Dallas, Texas.
And Cindy Vong is on the way to swim lessons over in San Jose with a birthday.
And happy birthday to Haley Robinson on a sustainability trip with her B-School buddies from Kellogg down in Ecuador.
And bestie Daisy Elliott is in her T-Boy Slam and Salmon hat in Signal Mountain, Tennessee, celebrating a birthday.
Signaling T-Boy to everyone who can see her. This is Jack. Nick and I both own stock of Apple, and we both own some Bitcoin. I love when you send me ice cream, dude. It's always such a nice surprise.
That was really fun. I think there were a bunch of cones in there, too.
You know, I still have like a puppy. Do you remember you sent me like a puppy thing?
Yes, the puppy flavor. Yeah, the one that they can eat. Yeah.
Can I confess something? I tasted it.
And?
I'm 90% sure it's just regular human ice cream.
They're like, yeah, charge twice the price, give them half the portion, put puppy on it. Boom.
I swear, it's just the same ice cream.
Oh, yeah, it's puppy. It's made for, it's like, what makes it a puppy ice cream? You're going to buy it or you're not going to buy it.